Next up, I'll bring up our first evaluator, Toastmaster Anna, who will be evaluating Isaac's speech.
So I believe Isaac's speech today is gonna talk about how Gavel Club is gonna work, how that information will benefit everybody, especially the new members. Today, his speech will be on project number 4, I believe, on the competent communication manual. Does anybody have that menu? Okay, Tim, can you pass that to me? This. So this is the new member packet. I have attached a welcome letter and also the competent communication manual. 10 speeches in this manual. I believe today is his number 4 project, and that is number 5. Great, you already finished 4 projects. But just everybody know, you don't have to compare to other people. Everybody come here at different time. So you start with your project number 1, and then you work on your next project. Everybody is on a different project, but this is your workbook. You study this book, prepare your speech, participate in the meeting roles. That's how you grow. So for project number 5, which is your body speaks. The objective is to use the stance, movement, gestures, facial expressions, and eye contact to express your message and achieve your speech purpose. Make your body language smooth and natural. Time is 5 to 7 minutes. Let's welcome Isaac Jefferson.
Thank you for that, Ms. Sam. Welcome all new members to your first Toastmaster meeting. Now, as I said earlier, most of you all might feel intimidated. Most of you all might not want to speak. That is perfectly fine. I remember how I felt in my first meeting and to give my first speech. The pressure was terrifying. What if I mess up? What if I stutter? What if I forget the whole speech that I spent the last week preparing for? It happens to all of us. All of us can relate to that. However, the mission of Toastmasters is to take what you already know and polish it. And what you don't know, we're going to learn. So, we all have stuff we can work on. Me personally, I struggle with preparation and I stutter very often. However, with Toastmasters, as we go through our 10 speeches, we get opportunities to work on each of our errors. We take what we learned from our last speech and we work on it in our next speech. Now, for our new members, the speech that you will be going through, not today, but throughout the year, will be your introduction speech. Now, that could be anything. It can be introducing yourself to the members, stating what you like, things you don't like, what you plan to learn, anything. Now, for my speech, it was just about myself. It was just a quick introduction. It doesn't have to be anything magical, anything too complicated, because it's your first speech. You're going to be nervous. And most of the time, when you do too much, you forget it. I had to learn that the hard way. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to go through all the new members, and I would like to see what is one thing you think you can improve on in your speaking. So, Miss, what is your name? Gia. What is one thing you think you can improve on during your speaking? Preparing for it. Understand. What about you? What is your name, ma'am? Pernika. What is one thing you think you can improve on during your speaking? Not forgetting the words. What about you?
Speaker, I think I could improve on getting eye contact and just confidence.
Understandable.
And
Emma?
I think I could improve on confidence also and volume.
Confidence and volume. What about you, Matt?
Audio, I think I could improve on being more confident in my speech.
Got it. And lastly, talking skills. Got it. Now, one thing that I got from just this question is that we all lack confidence. I still lack confidence. Now, the one thing that builds up confidence the best is just experience. The more you speak, the quicker you get used to it, and the more you throw yourself out there, it'll be like nature. You'll be able to deliver speeches to anyone within a matter of time. Get your point across and just get it over with. Now, the next thing was forgetting our speeches. The one thing that helps me most is to use flashcards. You don't have to write your entire speech out, but what you want to do is just write your main objectives. For instance, for this speech, I'm describing what Toastmasters is and the best way we can give effective speeches. So I can put bullet points of what tips that I could give to new members, and there's a short summary on what Toastmasters is, because me personally, I have a bad memory, I probably won't remember it. Now, I believe the next issue I heard was volume. Now, this is something I struggle with a lot. My dad would tell me all the time, speak up, speak up, speak up. I cannot hear you. Now, even if you think you are speaking loud enough, you always want to speak just a little bit louder, because it may be bad when you're yelling or when you're speaking too loudly, but it's even worse when they can't hear you, especially when you're pandering out to an audience of people who might have issues hearing. So it's always best to speak loudly. Make sure to voice yourself and enunciate your words so that people can understand you. Now, to sum everything up, I would just like to thank everyone for being here, and please, I hope you stay, and I hope we can all improve on our speaking abilities together. As I said, it might be easy for some, it might be hard for others, but the more that you put yourself out there, the more that you better yourself, and the more that you practice with people around you, the better you will get. Even if it's your parents giving you a movie to watch, an educational movie, and having you write a paper afterwards, everything you do can help you. Even if you have trouble making friends, Toastmasters will be able to help with that too. So thank you.
Excellent speech, Jazzy. Next, I'll bring up evaluator number 2, Tim, who will be evaluating our second speaker, philosophy.
So today I'll be evaluating Alessia's icebreaker speech, and an icebreaker speech should be between 4 to 7 minutes long, and it'll just be him talking about his childhood and something that interests him. So without further ado, we'll have Alessia come up and talk about his icebreaker. Hello guys, so I'm Foster, and I'll be doing my icebreaker speech today. So my journey starts in Chicago, Illinois, where I was born. So a little bit of background info. My dad moved into the US in 2002, and my mom joined in 2007. So with Indian degrees, you really can't get jobs that easily. So it took time and we moved around a lot. So some of the places I moved was California for 6 months. I've lived in North Carolina for a year. I've lived in Maryland for a year, and I lived in Iowa for a year. And I actually went back to India for another year before I ended up in German science system. So I had a little bit of difficulty adjusting, because in India they don't really teach you English. They only have like your mathematics, your English. Well, English, I mean like the language there, so Hindi, and they'll have science, and that's basically your curriculum. And it was kindergarten, so I took ESL for 2 years before I actually adjusted into school. And as you adjusted, I wanted to try some things to do. So I've done a few hobbies I've done. I've played soccer for 2 years. I've ice skated and roller skated for 4 years. I played piano for 5 years. And one of the best interests I've had that interested me is tennis. So tennis, actually, my interest in tennis actually comes from my dad. My dad used to watch the big three, Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, and Federer. And he really wanted to put that mindset on me. So I remember in my elementary school days, after school, I would eat a snack and I'd be practicing like 2 hours. And on weekdays, on weekends, it was actually terrible. I'll wake up at 5:30 to 6 and I'll be playing up till 9. And if my dad thought I was being lazy at that practice, I'd have to practice 2 hours in the afternoon. So it was a little bit ups and downs, but I slowly got better at the sport. And I was actually scheduled for my first tournament in my 6th grade year, but that's when COVID hit. Low-key, COVID ruined like a lot of me. I gained a lot of weight. I was eating like 6 to 7 meals a day. And I was just like a fat person in the house. Like I wasn't doing anything. But one hobby I did pick up was coding. So y'all remember block coding or Scratch? I make like a few games or video games. I started from like small video games, from like jumping video games, but I slowly progressed. And after a while making video games for block coding, my mom actually taught me how to do Python and like actual real coding. So if it wasn't for that, I'd be wasting my time during my COVID years. So after COVID, I started to pick up my hobbies back again. Not really roller skating, not really soccer, but tennis really stuck with me because I was like learning that for like 5 years. And I did new hobbies such as band. I played in the band for around 4 years. I played the saxophone, and I got a lot of new friends too. So I joined a few clubs of Asian and HOSA. And HOSA is just a medical club, but I really like HOSA because it aligns to the medical career path that I want to take, and I have an interest in biology. And this club really like helps me. In a few weeks, we're going on a trip to another place for that club, and I'm really excited. Yeah, that's a little bit about me. Thank you.
Thank you, Palacio. Next up is our table topics session with our table topics master, Coach Master Kennedy.
Thank you, Toastmaster JT. Welcome all. My name is Kennedy, and today I'll be your tabletop master. I'm going to give you guys some questions, and you guys are going to come up here and give an impromptu speech about 1 to 2 minutes. So the first question is, if you had the ability, would you rather have the ability to remember anything you've ever learned, or be able to learn anything instantly, but only at a beginner level? And the first question goes to, would you like to join?
I would have the ability to remember anything I learned because I could remember and use it later in life. But if I had the ability to learn anything instantly, then and it was at a beginner level, I wouldn't really be able to progress. So I think having the ability to learn everything and remember it would be a good one because I can use that later on and I can keep advancing with that.
All right, my next question goes to Tim. If you woke up with the ability, what would you do if you woke up with the ability to speak to plants?
Thank you for that question. So the question was, what would I do if I woke up with the ability to speak to plants? That's an interesting one, but I would probably go outside to my backyard. Because in my backyard, my parents grow a lot of plants. We have a really big garden out there. So I guess I get to hear everything they're talking about all day. We got a lot of like pumpkins, figs, cucumbers, tomatoes, chilies, you name it, we all got it. So I guess talking with plants, it's interesting, although I don't know if it would be necessarily good because, you know, we grow plants to eat them. So I don't know if that's a fun thing to listen to while eating plants. But I guess I could learn about like their life just sitting there, growing, photosynthesizing, and like growing. So it'll be interesting. I don't think I probably would enjoy it a little bit at first, but then I guess it'd kind of get a little weird. So I might not want to keep that power for too long. But thank you.
If you could be any animal for a day, which one would you choose? Diana.
If I could be any animal for a day, I would choose a cat because cats are really good at hunting. I would not like to eat, and I would like to eat for the day so I wouldn't starve. Cats are also really playful. Me and another cat would probably play fight. We would have a balloon time. Thank you so much. I need to ask something.
If you had to choose one of your dreams to live in permanently, which one would you choose?
Well, me and my friend Stacy, we currently are writing a book. It's not something we mean to publish or anything, just a way to spend our free time. But one of our books that we're currently writing is called Celia. We actually got the idea from one of our dreams. So I think that would be the one that I'd love the most because whenever I get writer's block or anything, it'd be nice to just, spend a day in her shoes or something.
Would you rather be able to turn anything you touch into gold or have anything you draw come to life? Excuse me, what's your name?
Emma.
Emma.
I would rather have anything I draw come to life because I could create many new things or tools to help me improve everyday life. And if there was any inconvenience, I could solve it just by grabbing paper and a pencil and drawing it out. It would also be helpful because I could build anything I'd want. And also, it could also solve problems because I could sketch out all of my ideas and it could come out and I could study it and improve it.
If you could be the inventor of anything, which invention would you claim as your own? Excuse me, what's your name?
I would probably choose the TV because I could claim that I make videos and so I could because I could watch it and I would know how to make it and I could just make any video because I have no tools to make it.
If you could own any dinosaur that ever lived as a pet, which one would you choose? Miss Annie.
Thank you for that question. If I choose a dinosaur, that would be a Apatosaurus. Is that the one that's called? It's really long, really tall with long neck. It's a vegetable eater. Simply because I'm short, I want something that's really tall, and that would be my pick. I will be able to grow some vegetables, some plants, and get the apples just because the dinosaur can pick it for me without me getting a ladder to get it. That dinosaur can also be very interesting to play with because it doesn't eat you. It will just play with you. You can climb up and it will run and you can go to places. You can enjoy the view on the trip, right? Looking at all the mountains and the rivers. Yeah, so that would be my pet, a Papasaurus. Thank you.
This is our last question. If you could have any superpower in the world, which one would it be? Excuse me, what's your name?
Oh, it's
Tula. If you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be?
I would want to go fly because then I could go like see the clouds or something. Yeah, I don't know what jumps.
That marks the end of our table topic session. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kenzie. Great table topic session. Let's see where we at. Next up, I'll bring up our first evaluator, Ms. Anna, to evaluate the first speaker. Oh, yeah, okay. Hannah's not here. Did you want to Oh, you,
I can start, yeah.
okay, good.
Alright, so right now is the evaluation session. This is where the growing and learning take place. Because when you give a speech but you don't know how you did, you are not learning from your good things or even the bad things. Today I have the honor to evaluate Isaac's speech. Isaac, I think you did a wonderful job. I like those heartfelt advices to our new members and even the old members. How you felt coming to speak in front of a big crowd the first time, the feeling, and I can feel I was with you, that feeling, because that was my feeling when I first stand up and speak in front of a big crowd. And you gave us tips. You just keep on practicing. Anything you are afraid of, you keep doing it, you will be good at it. Get it? So that's the lesson for the whole life, right? So thank you for that advice, the wisdom. I like you get new members involved. You ask the questions. What do you want to achieve? You want to, each one, and they give some answers. A great way to engage the audience. And that's something we all can learn from. Beginning, ending, the body in the good structure. I especially like the ending because you wrapped everything in one summary. That is, come here often, you will grow, you will learn. And that's the key message for our new member. You give them the drive, the spirit. Everything else is a second. If you want to be here, you will learn, you will grow, you will achieve what you want to achieve. So thank you for a powerful speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And next is evaluator team evaluating last year's icebreaker speech.
I will be evaluating last year's icebreaker speech for today. And to start off, I'd like to say that was a really great starter speech for his first speech of the project, the icebreaker. And I'd like to say he seemed really confident when he was speaking. He had a pretty good flow to his speeches. I noticed that he had pretty good hand movements as well. He started motioning for like 1, 2, 3 for a list of things, kind of moved his fingers around, his hand around, directing. And then he also wasn't really focused on exactly one thing. He was looking around the room. He wasn't really looking down at his phone, which I assumed he has some notes on, which is really great too. Because as a first speech, I would also recommend anybody doing the icebreaker to write a bit of notes or like note cards. Just have like maybe small bullet points to remind you. I would try not to write down your whole script or anything like that, as that may, although I understand that it's like when you're practicing that can be helpful, doing little bullet points helps you like use your memories and try to remember what your speech is. But next up in his speeches, he talked about his childhood moving from Chicago to place and coming here. His many hobbies like what he used to do, soccer, ice skating, and also tennis. And then he also talked about his coding adventure when he coded games. And I would also like to say his tone, he seemed to have like a pretty casual tone with all of us, which is, I feel like kind of more comforting here. He talked to us like how you would talk to some normal person and just have a casual conversation. Having that kind of mindset really like would help you not be as nervous. So just think of everybody here as like you're a normal friend you're talking to, just have a normal conversation with. And for more, maybe like in the future, if he wants to do a more formal speech, it would be better to have some like less language. Like I caught a word low key, so less language like that. But overall, I'd say his speech was really good for his first speech, and I hope to hear more from him in the future. Thank you.
Excellent evaluation. Next up, we'll bring up Sophia for the timer's report.
Hello everybody. For the table topics, Isaac got 5 minutes and 25 seconds. Velocia had 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Jaya had 23 seconds. Tim had 1 minute and 4 seconds. Diana had 1 minute and 10 seconds. I'm sorry, what's her name? Shrika, okay. Shrika had 20 seconds. Emma had 44 seconds. Monica had 49 seconds. Miss Anna had 1 minute and 7 seconds. Kalila had 12 seconds. And as for the evaluation, Miss Anna had 1 minute and 30 seconds, and Tim had 1 minute and 53 seconds.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to bring up our grammarian for the day, Toastmaster Deanna. On report.
For the speeches, Isaac had 10 filler words and no use of the word of the day. Celestia had 8 filler words and no use of the word of the day. The table topics, Gia had 1 filler word and no use of the word of the day. Tim had 3 filler words and no use of the word of the day. I had no filler words and 1 use of the word of the day. Shrika had 1 filler word and no use of the word of the day. Emma had 1 filler word and no use of the word of the day. Kanika had 2 filler words and no use of the word of the day. Miss Anna had 1 filler word and no use of the word of the day. Selena had 1 filler word, no use of the word of the day. For evaluations, Miss Anna had no filler words and no use of the word of the day. And Tim had 3 filler words and no use of the word of the day.
Thank you, grammarian. Meeting and leader evaluations, we're doing that. Next up, I'll introduce Toastmaster Anna for our meeting and leader evaluation. Cover for Hannah.
Thank you so very much for coming to the meeting today. Today's meeting started on time. We quickly find the people to fill the roles that are absent. So thank you all for doing that. Thank you, Diana, for filling up. Thank you, Jason, for doing that. And if I miss anybody else, thank you. The speeches are great. Isaac speech ebullient, as well as Celestia's. And that's how we all start to grow, is we take a icebreaker and start to speak. And we have several roles. The grammarian, we have timer. You can fulfill those roles and take on the leadership experience there. Toastmaster, maybe after a couple meetings, when you observe how Toastmaster function as the host of the meeting, you will be able to be a Toastmaster. You can give a table talk like a Kennedy did today, as a wonderful job. You can be an evaluator, evaluating other people's speech, or you really learn to listen carefully, right? Yeah, because if you don't listen carefully, you can't evaluate. So we're here to not just to speak, but also to listen carefully, to organize our thoughts, and help each other grow. So that's how we work. Thank you so very much. And I would like to hear that lady's thought about our meeting. What's your name?
Audio?
Adia? Yeah. Would you like to give some feedback about how the meeting went?
I think we had a good meeting and everyone had a good speech to tell. And I thought even like we could improve a little more. And
Yeah, we would love to hear where we can improve. Yes. Do you want to be more specific about where we can improve? Okay. Yeah, we can explore that after the meeting. All right, so that's the evaluation for the meeting. I will give the time back to our VP of Education to lay out the role for next week.